An ordinary man suddenly begins to trigger uncontrollable outbursts of hatred, during which literally everyone wants to beat him up. Do you want to find out how this happens and how to fix it? Watch the recap of the movie Vincent Must Die. The man's name is Vincent Borrell. He is about 40 years old and he works as a graphic designer. During a regular workday, one of his trainees, Hugo, suddenly hits him with a tablet. The other employees immediately try to calm the aggressive guy down. The boss tells Vincent that Hugo had a nervous breakdown. Apparently, this job was too hard for him. The man returns to his workplace. Other people in the office look curiously at the beaten colleague. In the evening, Vincent returns home and greets the local kids. Later that night, he surfs a dating site in search of a girlfriend. The next day, he goes to work again and shows the customers his new project. However, the client is not satisfied with the result. All of a sudden, Vincent gets attacked by another colleague named Ivers. Once again, the mad co-worker is hardly pacified. Both men are called into their boss's office. The employer is sure that the cause of the incident is competition at work. Ivers admits that he can't explain the reason for his aggressive behavior. Vincent forgives him, but the main character is advised to work from home for a while. It appears that he makes other colleagues very nervous as well. In the evening, Vincent heads to the local bar. He meets a girl named Lena and tells her about his challenging job. Suddenly, he notices a homeless man staring at him and then decisively walking towards the bar. At that moment, the aggressive passerby gets hit by a car. Vincent realizes that he'd better go home. People on the street look at him very hostile. The protagonist takes a cab and successfully returns to his apartment. At home, he looks at photos on the wall, after which he gets on his bike and goes for a ride. Unfortunately, the crazy woman tries to hit him with a car. Vincent tries to find a logical explanation for this strange behavior of people around him. He watches various aggressive videos on the internet, but still can't figure out how it relates to him. The man goes to a session with a psychotherapist. Alas, the therapist doesn't understand him and believes that the protagonist provokes people who attack him. Vincent decides to deal with his problem on his own. He is assaulted by both his acquaintances and strangers. The only trigger for the aggression is eye contact. To make things worse, people can't find an explanation for their behavior. Vincent tests his theory on the neighbor living across the street. Several glances, and a few flower pots fly in the main character's direction. As soon as eye contact stops, the neighbor immediately calms down. The man buys a taser and handcuffs. It looks like all this stuff will come in handy for self-defense. After a walk along the embankment, he meets some kids on a staircase. A brawl breaks out literally in 3 seconds. Vincent fiercely fights off the crazy teenagers and locks himself in his apartment. Angry neighbors gather behind the door. Vincent realizes that he needs to escape from this place. He packs his belongings and leaves the house in the middle of the night. The protagonist gets into a cab and visits his father. The man is not very happy to see his son, since he lives with a girlfriend. Then Vincent takes his dad's car, packs some more of his stuff, and leaves for their family country house. Along the way, he gets a snack at a gas station. A homeless man walks up to the main character, asks him for a piece of sandwich, and then claims he has the same problem. When he makes eye contact with other people, they immediately want to end his life. This has been happening for him for several months. It turns out the number of people having this problem is increasing. The homeless man tells Vincent about a special site for such people and recommends that he adopts a dog for self-defense. While refueling his car, Vincent spots several other cars pulling into the gas station. Alas, he accidentally glances at one of the drivers. The man immediately grabs a shovel. Vincent quickly gets behind the wheel and drives away from the aggressive madman. He drives all night and finally arrives at his country house at dawn. The man immediately locks the gate with a padlock. He is safe now. Vincent finds the website the homeless man told him about and creates an account, using the nickname Dave17. In the afternoon, a courier from a delivery service arrives at the man's house. Vincent asks him to leave the package outside the fence. A neighbor and her young daughter appear nearby. The little girl looks at the protagonist with genuine hatred in her eyes. Vincent contacts the homeless man from the gas station. His nickname is Joachim DB. He advises the main character to stay away from all people and reminds him to get a dog. Vincent notices that the toilet in his house is clogged. He goes outside to relieve himself and meets another neighbor. Unfortunately, their eyes meet. Another fight ensues. They fall into the mud together, but it doesn't stop the brawl. Soon, they are completely dirty. The protagonist has to fight back with a rock. Vincent goes home, washes off the mud, and takes the battered neighbor to a wasteland in the trunk of his car. The furious neighbor manages to injure him. At that point, Vincent grabs a hammer. He has no other choice. The man takes a shower to get rid of the red stains. The next day, he visits an animal shelter to adopt a dog. He chooses a black dog with a very kind smile, names him Sultan, and immediately starts training him. The next training session is urgently interrupted by a group of aggressive tourists. Vincent finds his taser again. In the evening, the man makes a takeaway order in a local cafe. 10 minutes later, a waitress brings the order to his car. She is a very beautiful girl named Margot. Nevertheless, the protagonist doesn't look into her eyes. He doesn't want this girl to attack him. Vincent gives her a generous tip. Back home, he finds this cafe's website and looks at Margot's photos. Apparently, the main character has fallen in love. During the day, Vincent boards up the windows of his house, and in the evening, he goes to the same cafe and orders takeout once again. At that moment, several motorbikes show up in the parking lot. All of a sudden, Margot jumps into the car and asks the protagonist to take him away from this place. The girl offers Vincent to go for a beer together, and he is afraid to get out of the car and asks Margot to bring him a glass. They drink, and the girl complains to him about her difficult life. Unfortunately, it doesn't take long for those bikers to find them. Apparently, she owes them a lot of money. Vincent gets out of the car to protect his new girlfriend, and meets the biker's eyes. Uh-oh. Luckily, he has a taser and a strong fist. Vincent and Margot are driving away in the car, and that's when they accidentally look into each other's eyes. Uh-oh. The girl immediately pounces on him. They nearly get into an accident. Vincent knocks out the aggressive waitress and takes her to his house. Margot regains consciousness but remembers almost nothing. She is locked in a room like a hostage. Vincent promises to take the girl home, but on the condition that she closes her eyes and agrees to handcuff herself. The girl opens her eyes in the car. Vincent forbids her to look at him. Realizing that Margot doesn't believe him, the protagonist decides to show her his problem in practice. He meets his eyes with a group of people near the shopping center. The crowd is willing to tear the protagonist into pieces. People break the glass of the car, but Vincent and Margot manage to drive away from them. The girl is shocked. Now she believes him. The couple gets to a pier, and Vincent takes the handcuffs of his girlfriend. Margot shows him her yacht. It turns out she lives there. The conditions are far from ideal, but she doesn't have to pay rent or utilities. They open a bottle of beer and then another one. Soon the protagonists get drunk and kiss. Well, they'll have to do it in handcuffs. In the evening, Vincent walks along the pier and contacts Joachim. His companion in distress claims to be cured. He's no longer being attacked by other people, which means he can return home to his family. Great news! The faithful Sultan is waiting for his master on the pier and suddenly begins to growl. At that moment, Margot pounces on Vincent. He barely manages to fight back. Unfortunately, in contrast to Joachim, the protagonist still provokes aggression. Another boat appears nearby. People on it are drunk and violent. Vincent and Margot urgently drive away from this place. Something is burning near the protagonist's house. To make things worse, they find someone's body. It seems to be Vincent's neighbor. The man enters the house and finds his father holding a gun. The old man is desperate. He explains that strangers at the gas station attacked his girlfriend. Vincent puts the distressed father to bed. Margot also falls asleep. The main character goes outside and reads a new message from Joachim. He confesses that his wife hasn't forgiven him, and he doesn't want to live anymore. Vincent, together with his father and Margot, drive to Joachim. The radio broadcasts the news about the unprecedented violence spreading all over France. Soon, the president himself will give an urgent address. The protagonist gets stuck in a traffic jam. Vincent's father grabs a knife and gets out of the car. His son soon runs after him. A real madness reigns on the highway. People seem to have lost their minds with rage. Vincent meets his father's eyes, but he lunges at another person. Margot also gets out of the car. She begs Vincent to leave this place immediately. The man remarks that no one is attacking him. He is cured. Vincent and Margot leave with Sultan. At one point, the main character attacks his girlfriend. Unfortunately, she is unable to defend herself against a stronger man. The only thing she can do is cover his eyes with her hands. After a moment, he lets her go. Now, they've switched places. The main characters lay on the grass and think about their future. Margot blindfolds Vincent. The girl notices a couple of snipers on one of the houses. Several gunshots are heard. The protagonist steals someone's car and drive away. They soon stop by the pier in the middle of the night and kiss. Margot returns to her yacht. Vincent follows her. They go out into the open sea. The girl blindfolds her lover again. This is the only way they can be together.